Hi, at Farmerjohn, and it is a cool, breezy Tuesday afternoon. Um, I've already done a video similar to this on carburetors, but we're going to do it again since we have one out here. This is one of the two MTs we just got in. Um, I'm going to show the carburetor, but basically we're going to adjust the carburetor and the governor linkage on this. This one came in, and this tractor was redone, but it was idling way too fast. So I'm going to show you what I did to it. Me and Larry actually worked on it this morning. There were several things that I noticed wrong with it when we got it, that it was idling too high. So I'm just going to walk you through. One of the problems we found out was this tractor was painted, so of course you can see all new. They put new clips in it here, and on the governor rods got new clips, which is all good. So they put it together all painted, put the new clips in there, but got absolutely nothing adjusted properly. So one of the things I noticed right away was on the throttle. Usually your throttle is going to be about 9 to 12 o'clock. Well, this one came all the way down here to about 6 and went all the way up to about 12. One of the problems was the set screw. It's got to go into the rod, and there's a detent or a hole for it. That has to go into that hole. And it's hard to do because you got spring tension here that comes through on the rod. But what we usually do is we'll take a pair of vice grips and we'll clamp this here on the throttle shaft, and we'll put it all the way down to where it's hitting the stop. That's going to be slow speed. And you can take a pair of vice grips and push it in to get this rod to come out. And then I put a mark right here on the casting to line up this screw, because you can't see it when you're putting it together. So put you a line on the casting here and line this bolt up. And that pinch bolt should go all the way in till there's only 1 to 2 threads showing. That's how you know it's tight. And it's in the hole. Now if you notice, this one only goes from about 12 to about 10, not quite 9 o'clock, but that's the correct way. The other thing we did is when you come down here and you've got this set up, and once you got your throttle arm on, you're going to come down here, and on the carburetor, what you want to make sure is that this lower linkage, and of course it's on the throttle stop again, the linkage, when you put it into the carburetor, should be all the way back. So if this rod on the lower governor doesn't come back to where it's set at idle, you want to go ahead and take that nut right there and loosen it up, and you're going to spin this rod out, the lower one. You'll spin it out till it meets the throttle shaft or throttle stop. Also, when you do that, make sure your idle set screw is about 1.5 turns off the seat or the carburetor. That's where you want to set this rod, so make sure that it's set right. So anyhow, make sure that this arm for the throttle shaft is down here on the resting part here. Okay, with that being said, the other thing you want to do, and then what this tractor was doing, it was the motor was racing and you couldn't adjust it down. So what had happened is, when they put it together, like I said, the throttle arm itself, it was just slipping around on the shaft, so it was never pinched in, and the bolt set screw was not in it. So you had a lot of travel. The other thing they did when they put it together, the main rod that comes up to your throttle, it was out about maybe 5 turns. Of course, that needs to be set too when you're putting your rod to your carburetor on. And you're going to do it the way I said, and you're going to set it down here where it's at idle. All right. Okay, the other thing we do is on the carburetor, on our slow speed here, with it, just, I'm going to tell you sort of how to dry set it, is 1.5 turns out, and then on your power jet here on the bottom, you're going to turn it all in, turn out about 1.5 turns for starting. So anyhow, I've already done this because it took us probably We worked on this, what, Larry, 2-3 hours? We worked on this 2 or 3 hours time we did the tune up and stuff. All right, so basically we set all the throttle up. We got all our linkages set right on the carburetor. We set it up 1.5, 1.5 on our slow speed and our power jet. The other thing we did, we came over here. We went ahead and we changed the points and condenser. We just went ahead and did a little small tune-up on it while we had it off. Checked all our spark plug wires, make sure we had fire. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start this. Oh, and I took the fuel bowl off and cleaned it because make sure it didn't have trash in it. So we got all that done. Put a new filter screen in there. Put a new fuel line because somebody had put a inline cartridge. If the fuel line is the right one and you got the screen and the fuel bowl, you should be fine. Shouldn't need to run any fuel filters. All right, so we're going to turn the switch on. I'm going to put the throttle up just a little bit. We're going to do the choke, and let's see what it does. Okay, so we got it set up. We went ahead, one other step that I didn't show, because like I said, we've been working on it for a few hours to get everything set. We came over here and we went ahead and moved the distributor a little bit and got the timing set a little bit better than what it was. And when you set the distributor timing, you want to of course set it at idle so you can really hear the motor where it gets sort of smoothed out real good. But anyhow, okay, so we got it running good. There's no blow by, no smoke out of the top, so it's probably running pretty good. So at this point, you can go ahead and slightly move the slow speed jet out just a little bit, so it starts to, the motor starts to get a little sluggish, and then move it back in maybe about a quarter turn. Then you're going to throttle it up. Throttled up, you want to adjust the power jet same way. You're going to turn it out just a little bit till the motor starts to lag a little bit and then turn it back in. And this motor's cold right now and you can see it's doing pretty good actually. Go ahead Larry, you going to go back under? So anyhow, real key on setting up, even if you get a rebuilt carburetor, and if the throttle and the governor is not set up right, the tractors are not going to run. If you got a problem with it running wide open, it tells me usually that the linkage is off or there's something wrong with the governor. A lot of people want to go to the carburetor right away. Set all your governor linkages first. Make sure the throttle handles are tight and in the right position. You can hear it cutting along, and this morning when we got it, of course, it is wanting to run wide open all the time. So, governor link is set first, carburetor second. And of course, make sure the fuel bowls are cleaned out. But it should sit and run about like that. And I probably could, let's see if it'll go down any lower. I could probably get a little bit lower. I just have the idle screw just turned up a little bit. But that's about as slow as I want to really get it putting along. But I thought since we were doing this, Larry and I, that I would just share these tips. Good thing to know on the governors, because I get a lot of questions on my tractor won't run right. So carburetor issues are running, the motor running too fast. It's usually going to be in the governor linkage, not so much the carburetor. But you can tune them all together. The distributor will help you get it smoothed out a little bit. And of course the adjustment on the carburetor. So anyhow, if you find this video helpful, the tip, let me know. I don't usually ask the comments back, but if you think this video was helpful, just let me know, give me feedback on it. But you should be able to get your tractor to putt like that. Alright, this is on the John Deere MT, but 40T, 420, 430, 440, they're all going to be set up the same way. So, alright, well, Farmer John signing out. We're getting ready. Larry's got the hood in his hand. He wants to close this one up. So, I'm going to shut this puppy down, turn the gas off, and this tractor will be going to a new home in the next day or two. So, hope the tips help. Farmer John signing out.